Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Mary, and I'm part of the customer success team here based in Toronto. Thank you for taking the time to join us for today's webinar. During today's webinar, you will learn how Umapped is helping leading global brands and travel advisors engage with their customers throughout their entire travel journey. By using our collaborative experience platform, you can deliver interactive, branded, consolidated mobile proposals and itineraries with relevant content and messaging for your clients. You'll see how the platform maximizes productivity and streamlines your business workflow. So during today's 45-minute webinar, we'll start with an overview of the client interface, taking a look at how your clients will receive and view their trips online via the mobile app and as a PDF. Next, we'll demo Umapped's online trip building platform for travel professionals called what we call the Trip Publisher. We'll finish today's webinar with a review of the training resources and support that's available to you and making sure to save some time for a live Q&A. Before we begin, for those of you who are brand new to Umapped and have yet to sign up for a trial, you can do so by going to umapped.com and selecting sign up on the right-hand side. This will direct you to our trial form. All you have to do is fill out the form. No credit card information is needed, and our customer success team will receive the request. Once we fulfill the request, you'll receive an email from our team to get your account activated. All right. So the trip email, this email right here, is the only email that your clients will need in order to access all 3 platforms of their itinerary. You'll see here we have our trip name and dates. We have a nice photo. View your trip is where you'll be able to access the web view. The App Store and Google Play Store links are available to download the mobile app, and your agent details appear at the very bottom here. So here you'll have your branding, any links to your social media, email, along with any other contact details. And then this email can also be translated into French, Spanish, and Portuguese. Right, so if I go into view your trip, this will take me right into my web view. And you'll see that I'm taken to a locked page. Here, we want to ensure, this is actually added as a security feature. We understand that private information is included in these trips, and we want to ensure only the right people are accessing them. So I'm going to go ahead and type in the email address that I've been added with as a traveler, and I'm going to go ahead and log in. So within the web view, the first thing that your travelers will see is your branding and your agent details. This is front, right, and center. We want to ensure that these trips are, branded for you and your clients, so they know who to contact. So you can see here we have the same branding. We have the links to download the mobile apps again. And here in the download feature, we have the option to download our PDF. There are 2 different versions, the PDF itinerary and the print friendly. The only difference is the print friendly omits all photos. So if your travelers do prefer a paper copy of their trip, they do have that available. I'm going to go ahead and download the PDF and get back to that in a second. Then I'm going to scroll through. So you'll see here I do have an overall trip summary. This is a summary of all of the segments I have available within my trip. You'll see here I have my fun facts. So this is a W Cities guide that was added. We do have partnerships with Afar and W Cities for our destination content. And here you'll be able to add any guides or overviews in regards to any cities your travelers are traveling to. Here we have a flight. So here we have web check-in and baggage policy links. You'll see here that these have been populated automatically when a recognized flight, in this case AA2379, was added. We do have, passenger details, pricing. If I select this chat icon here, you'll see that it takes me directly into our Umapped Messenger. So when the Umapped Messenger is enabled, this does allow yourself and your travelers to chat in real time. You'll receive a notification in the mobile app. You'll also receive a notification you'll also receive a notification in the web view, as well as an email. So let's say you're not online. As the agent, you will receive a full email digest within 30 minutes, and you can simply respond to that email, and your response will appear here in the messenger window. If I select this arrow here, you'll also see that I have a trip a messenger room or message room for every single segment within the trip. And then I also have an overall trip chat. So this particular trip does contain more details. However, it is entirely up to you how much information you'd like to add. We are able to accommodate your corporate trip all the way up to your full fit trip, complete with cruises, tours, and multiple transfers. So here I have another transfer. Here I have my hotel complete with all my details and amenities, pricing. If I select this photo icon here, I'm able to scroll through all of the images that have been uploaded for this specific vendor. So these images were uploaded prior to and are now available for my clients to access. To continue to scroll down, you'll see here I have an activity, complete with details again, transfer, and a FAR highlight. Again, we do partner with our destination content providers, FAR and W Cities, and we can they are able to provide you with full overviews as well as any specialized guides, such as if you understand that your travelers are more interested in food or dining, shopping, nightlife, we do have those available. Again, if I scroll down, I have another hotel booking. I can go through photos that have been uploaded for that vendor. And then I have my car rental, another excursion, transfer, and my final flight. If you see down here at the very bottom right-hand side, you'll notice a blue plus button. What this is our traveler collaboration feature. So your travelers are able to add bookings of their own. They can go ahead and add, their own flights, accommodations. They can add their own restaurant reservation. They can add a note. Within the note, they can also attach a photo, make it a bit of a, nice little entry in their trip. And then they're also able to add other travelers to the trip. This is particularly helpful if you're working with a group or a family and may only have the contact details of one traveler. You can go ahead and invite that one traveler, and they'll be able to share it with other members of the group. With the traveler collaboration feature, kindly note that your travelers won't be able to edit or delete anything that you've already created for them. They are only able to add new bookings of their own, and this also goes both ways. So anything that your travelers have added to their trip, you will not be able to edit or delete. Only the person that created the booking will have the option to. If I head back here at the very top, you'll see I have a Documents tab. Here's where I have or documents and PDFs that are available for download. This is helpful if you have a voucher, any tickets, or any documents that you need downloaded. Maybe they need to be scanned or reviewed in the future. We also have here a Umapped library document. So these documents are created within the company, either by yourself or by your colleagues, and these can be attached. They may be, a general document or maybe something specific to a city or a location. Here in the map, you'll see all of the coordinates laid out for your bookings. In the calendar, you'll see as well all of the segments laid out. The nice feature about the calendar is that it can actually be synced directly to your Google Calendar, iCalendar, or Outlook calendar. This is nice to have it synced personally, so you don't have to worry about manually adding those things in. And then here we also have the same feature to access the messenger function. So head over to my PDF. So again, you'll see the branding is always very consistent. We have the same photo, trip name, and your agent details on the first page. And again, all of the information is the same. We also have the photos available as well. Again, we do have the two versions of the PDF. The only difference between the two is the printer-friendly omits all photos. This is simply helpful if your travelers do have a longer itinerary, and it may be easier for them to just print out. Right, so if you give me 1 second here, you'll see my mobile app in a second. So here you can see I do have my mobile app open. I have a couple trips in there. I'm going to go into the trip to Antigua that we've been working with. So you can see again, branding is always very consistent. Same cover photo. Agent details are always at the top, front, right, and center. Our clients have the option to email or access your website. If I had a phone number available, the phone icon would appear here as well. Any longer notes will show as collapsed in the trip. This is simply, because it is a smaller screen, we don't want excessive scrolling. So if I enter that trip summary, the note will appear and I can scroll through it right there. The nice thing about flights as well, so if I go in, we do have the web check-in and baggage policy links again available within the app, but we also have our directions and forecast. So travelers can grab directions wherever they're landing or wherever they're coming from, and as well as the weather forecast. All you have to do is select directions, either enter your current location or whichever address you want to head to, and we basically pull up Google Maps to help you out with that. So again, all of the information is the same. If I go into my hotel, in order to access all of the photos uploaded for that vendor, again, all I have to do is go to the banner and scroll, and all of the images that have been uploaded are also available in the mobile app. And the accommodations bookings, again, have that same feature of grabbing directions as well as the weather forecast. So here we have documents. Again, the documents can be attached and downloaded within the mobile. This is helpful if anything needs to be scanned or previewed, but you don't necessarily want it disrupting the flow of the trip. Here we have the same trip messenger. And then we have the maps. The mobile app is completely available offline. The only things that aren't available offline are the messenger as well as the directions. These will need data or an internet source. Right, so I'm going to head back in. So that was an overview of the client interface. We went over the web view, the PDF, and the mobile app. We saw the similarities between the web and the mobile with the same traveler collaborator feature. And again, just noting that if you do receive a notification from the messenger, you get notified in both the web and the mobile, and you also receive an email digest. So next we're going to go into our trip publisher. So I'm going to head over, and right now we're using pub-trip.umapped.com. This is our brand new client interface. It is much more user-friendly. If this isn't the link that you have been working on, you can use the same credentials. I'll insert the link in the chat later. But pub-trip.umapped.com. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in with my credentials, and you'll see that I'm taken directly to my dashboard. So immediately you'll see any trips that you've created. If you want to filter any trips that you've been working with, it's that filter icon up here on the right-hand side, and you can either search by name or you can filter, any in progress. You can look at any that are currently pending. Maybe you look at all. This is a nice feature to be able to keep track of your trips. Trips shared with me are any trips that you've been added with as a collaborator. These will be available for you here. And then company trips, depending on your level of access. If you are an administrator, you will have access to company trips. You see our branding again, our logos here at the very top left-hand side. And at the bottom, if you were to click your name, you'll see a menu appear here with my account, preferences, and plans. If you go into your account, you can go ahead and this is where you'd upload your profile photo, update any contact information, and you can also change your password. With preferences, we do have multiple features here. So we have a couple different PDF layouts. So here we have the default version. We have large photos, which is the version of the PDF that we had looked at earlier. Layout 3 is the same large photos, but it also includes the thumbnails of all the other photos that have been uploaded. And the printer friendly has 0 photos at all. So it's nice to be able to toggle between, see which version you like best. With the account preferences, here's where you'll be able to kind of customize better what you do and do not receive. With traveler messaging, let's say you don't want to be receiving messages around the clock, due to time differences. We completely understand. You do have the option to turn that messenger off. So what this does is you'll still be able to send messages. Your travelers will still be able to receive their flight notifications, but they will not be able to respond back. So essentially, they'll open up the chat room and won't see that extra bar down below to respond. Right. If I go into plans, here's where you'll be able to see what plan schedule you're on as well. And if you are on a credit card plan, here you'll be able to update your credit card information. So if I head back to my dashboard, we'll go here at the very top bar. Again, vendors, this is something that's covered in a more advanced webinar, but vendors is where you can manage, we saw that a couple of the vendors that we looked at in our trip had photos. Here's where you can search them up, or you can also create brand new ones and customize them for your own company. The library is where we had, in the documents tab of the web view, here is where those documents were attached from. These are documents created either by myself or my colleagues within the same company that are ready for access. And then company, if you're an administrator, is here. So in order to build a trip, all I have to do is on the top right-hand side, select create trip. I'm gonna add my trip name, so trip to Europe 2019. We'll add in our dates to the 19th. And the tags feature is meant to be used as a bit of a filter. So if I work, let's say I'm preparing this for the Smiths, I can add that as a tag and it's easier for me to search up later. So I'm going to go ahead and create that trip, and I'm taken right into my trip builder. Before I start building, we're going to go over the navigation menu on the left-hand side. If you ever need to access your trip again, or this view, all you have to do is select trip. In order to import bookings, if you work with our live integrations such as Clientbase or Sabre, these are live integrations that do require a prior setup. Here we can pull in your res cards or your PNR as long as it's placed on a designated queue, and we can grab all of that information and import it for you. If you work with Galileo, Apollo, Travelport, even a more manual upload of a Sabre PNR, here all we require is your PNR number, last name, ensuring that the PE field is filled out, and we can grab that for you. Because this is more of a manual upload, any updates made to the PNR will need to be done manually as well within the trip. Only PNRs or res cards that have been imported using the live integration will have the automatic update. For suppliers, you'll see here we do have partnerships with AATK, Classic Vacations, GoGo, to name a few. For some, it requires an additional setup, such as DM Africa. But for others, in this Kentucky, all you have to do is type in a keyword and grab your dates, and we'll pull in those tours for you. Also have the option to upload PDF files. We do have recognized PDF parsers. An example for Islands in the Sun and Qantas. You can upload your booking PDF and we'll parse all that information into the trip for you. Destination content is where you'll be able to add our FAR and W Cities guides. So anything that you'd like to add in regards to maybe dining, nightlife, this is available for you. Supporting documents is where in the documents tab within the web view here, that is your supporting documents here within the trip builder. So again, you can add content from your Umapped library, but you can also upload a PDF or a Word document as well. And your calendar view is where you'll be able to see all your segments laid out. Trip settings is where you'll see your branding. Here you can also opt to edit the date, name of the trip, the tag. You can duplicate the trip. Let's say you're working with a group and they have very similar bookings, but maybe a couple flights are different. Here you can duplicate the main trip and then update it accordingly, so that way you don't have to keep creating a brand new trip. And you can also have the option to delete. Anything that you do is also available in the audit log. We do keep track of the date and time, so it's easier for you to reference, when a last update was made. It's more of to keep track. If I head back to trip here, you'll also see that when I created the trip, there's this blank kind of banner here, and this is where you'll upload your cover photo. So if I select that pencil icon and I type in a keyword, you'll see there's multiple ways to upload photos. So this method we highly recommend, as we do pull from our Wikimedia image library, and this library is free of copyright or licensing rights. So these images are free for commercial use. You don't have to worry about the distribution of them. Searching by web is another option. So again, I type in a keyword, I type in a website, And Unsplash has free images for use, and we scrape the photos from the website containing that keyword. And lastly, if you do have a photo that works well for you, you have it saved on your desktop, you have the option to upload that as well. So if I go back to my image library, I'm going to use that option. Again, these images are free for commercial use, so I'm going to go ahead and maybe I'll add this Gaudi photo and have that there. Once my image is ready, I can go ahead and add my segments. So I'm going to show you how we use our Sabre Live integration. So if I go into import bookings, booking inbox, all I have to do is type in my PNR number and search. Here, if I select the arrow, you'll see all of the segments that came through with my PNR, along with any details, and then I can add that to my trip. Once it's been added, you'll see that everything has come in chronological order. All of the details, if I were to, example, go into view details, I could see passenger information. I can see any additional details. If I want to edit, I do have the pencil icon. I can update the booking as I wish. If I go into one of my accommodations segments, I could go to view details. If I want to see the photos that have been added or that came with this vendor, I could select photos. I could choose to, hide specific photos if I'd like. I can, choose to hide all photos. And if I toggle this over, I can also choose to reorder, maybe update the order of the images within the booking. And again, can view my room details. Right. So let's say I've imported via Sabre Live and there's a couple, booking segments I'd like to create on my own. So I can go ahead again, press that blue plus button and maybe go into accommodation and type in a keyword. You'll see here that we do have, let me just type this in. You'll see here that we do have recognized vendors already here within our database, complete with their addresses. I'm going to go ahead and add the Majestic. You'll see photos that have already been uploaded for this vendor are visible. All of my details along with the website link. I could check my check-in date, check-out date. Check-in time will be 3 p.m. Checkout time is 12. I can go ahead and add that to my trip. Again, if I want to edit any photos, I can go ahead and do that with that camera icon. And I can edit any booking details this way as well. I can maybe add some room information, so that's specific to my traveler. Maybe pricing, cancellation policy, or let's say a booking confirmation came with this particular hotel. Maybe I can download that and attach it as well to this trip, to this booking. If I want to go ahead and add a restaurant reservation, again, I go to the blue plus button, select activity, and from the type, I can select restaurant. Here, I simply type in a name. I can add my date. We'll do dinner on the 8th at 7 p.m. Location is a restaurant, and I can add that to my trip. So you'll see that's been added to the exact date. If I go in and edit, you'll see this label field here. So what this does is you'll see that any segment that I've created myself does have its own kind of title. If I want to override that automated title, I simply go into label. Maybe I say it's a tapas tour update, and you'll see that it updates accordingly. Again, I can add any pricing and any rates that I'd like as well. All right, now that I'm happy with my segments, I can go ahead and add my additional destination content and supporting documents. So for destination content, again, we do have a destination guide, so full overviews. It does recognize that I have segments already in London and Barcelona. So if I go into Barcelona, search, I do have a full overview here. I'm going to go ahead and add that to my trip. Maybe I just add it to the top of my trip for now. If I go to points of interest, here we have more dedicated ones. So we'll type in again, Barcelona. Let's look at desserts. I can add that to my trip. Maybe I add that to the day that I have my dinner reservation. believe that was on the 6th. We can go ahead and add that there. And my WCDs guide, maybe we do it for London this time. Search, and we will add some fun facts. It's here, and I can add that to my trip again. I can add it to the top of my trip if I like. So to access that view again, I go back into trip. And you'll see here, for longer guides such as the overview, we do enjoy putting it at the very end simply because we don't want it disrupting the flow of your trip. So all you have to do is go to View Details, select that tag icon, and place at the end of itinerary. So what this does is if I scroll to the very bottom, regardless of what other segments I add, this guide will always appear at the very end. If I add this, go to the top, maybe I can just add this one. I know that my clients will be in London on the 1st. That's fine. I can add it there. And for any segments within the same date, let's say I would want my segments first, you can take it and drag and drop it amongst to reorder any segments within the same date only. You aren't able to drag between dates, but you are able to drag and drop within the same date. All right, now I'm ready to add my supporting documents. These documents are created within my company, either myself or my colleagues have made it within the Umapped library. I can go ahead and attach that as well. So maybe we do one for each major city. And then for file attachments, maybe I have a PDF or Word document, terms and conditions, insurance policies, tickets. I can go ahead and attach that to the trip so my clients still have access to it if they need. All right. Once that's been added, I'm ready to review, so I can look at my calendar. And a fun fact about the calendar is you are able to simply grab your segment and drag it to another date. This is a very easy workaround, particularly if a trip's been pushed back maybe a day or two or even a week. Rather than going into every individual segment and editing the dates yourself, you can go into the calendar and drag and drop it. Once that's good, I can go into my trip settings are okay, my documents look good. Now I'm ready to go back into my trip and publish. Maybe I add a nice note. So what this does is when you're publishing an interactive version of this trip, this changes the status of your trip to published, and your clients have that traveler collaboration feature. For publishing a read-only version, what this does is let's say you haven't finalized the trip, but you want your clients to preview it before you move forward. So the read-only version keeps the trip pending, but it does send that email to your travelers with a review-only status, essentially. So I'm going to set mine to interactive, and I'm going to publish. Once it's been published, if I select that preview icon here on the blue bar, I can also preview my PDF while I'm building, but I can also preview my web. Here, and you'll see here that you can preview, make sure all your links are good, make sure your images look okay, all the details are good. Do your final once over before you send it off to your traveler. So everything looks good to me. I can go back in, and then I can select the share icon and add my traveler. So again, once the trip has been published, your traveler will receive the email right away. So it's very important to be mindful of that. If you've published a trip, please only add your traveler once you're ready, as they will receive the email right away. You can preview that trip email that they've received within here as well. All right. So that was an overview of how to build an itinerary. I previewed our new trip publisher, went over how to use our live integration, as well as how to create trips yourself, and how to send that final product off to your traveler. For training, resources, and support, we do highly recommend taking advantage of our self-serve support portal. That's pub-support.umapped.com. Here you'll find anything and everything you may need to know in regards to the trip publisher, All of our solutions do contain easy to follow step-by-step guides as well as screenshots for you. Some may even contain videos, but they are very easy to follow. We also have our customer success team that can be accessed from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time at support@umapped.com. So any inquiries that you may have, please do not hesitate to reach out. Lastly, we do host a live Q&A webinar every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. When you register for that webinar, you are prompted to answer some of your questions, and please do not hesitate to write them in, as we want to ensure that that Q&A is really targeted towards any questions that may be pressing for our users. Right. So for those of you who are not able to stay for the Q&A portion of this webinar, thank you again for joining today's introductory webinar. Again, if you need any assistance while you're in the trip publisher, please do not hesitate to reach out at support@umapped.com, or even accessing our support portal for assistance. If I go back into my trip here, one of the questions that's come up often is, how do I import a cruise, or how do I access your cruise database? So again, if I go to the blue plus button, you'll see cruise here. And you could simply type in a cruise ship name, select my dates, find cruise, and we'll pull in all that cruise information for you. Here I can expand that and import. And once it's been imported, you'll see here I have my cruise details, complete with my stops. If I need to add a stop or delete a stop, I have that option as well. And here you see all my cruise details. I go in. I can go also, if I want to add a photo, I can create a vendor from this particular cruise stop to add my photos, or I can also go ahead and edit any information for that cruise stop as well. Right. So if there aren't any additional questions, thank you again, everyone, for joining today's webinar, and we hope you have an amazing day. Thank you.